Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar, and welcome to another episode of Haunted Gaming, the series where we take a look at the darker side of our favorite video games. Yeah, it's a cringy intro no matter how you put things. This is more of a revamp, I guess you could say, of the entire series where we take a look at gaming, bring back the focus, and frankly have a series where each episode feels a little more different than the other one. And today we are looking, as our first little foray into this, a little experimental test phase if you will, testing the waters, is the Karazhan Crypts from World of Warcraft. Now, I believe that many people actually know this just because of how popular it really is, and frankly, you've all seen the screenshots, but today I want to do it with my own exploration behind it, because I've never actually done it myself, and I figured I might as well go into it and see just what it's really about. Now, the Karazhan Crypts is a part of World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft is an MMORPG, so you might wonder how many creepy, haunted gaming-y moments you can really have in this game, and frankly, there are quite a lot, and I think with the video that we're about to do, we can actually make some of our own with the actual dead silence we'll be portraying in this entire episode. Now, in order to do this, you would really need to have the original version of World of Warcraft. We're talking 1.0. If we're looking at World of Warcraft today, they're running at version 6.0 plus something, which would be the Warlords of Draenor expansion. World of Warcraft's been around for a long time, ladies and gentlemen. They've had a ton of expansions, and frankly, the game is a lot different than it was many years ago. So we're going to go all the way back to the original. Now this poses a little problem with video production here because frankly there is no classic version of World of Warcraft available officially by Blizzard. And even if there was, we're not going to be able to get to this place because what we're about to see is stuff that Blizzard never released. They worked on it for a bit, but they never managed to release it. So how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to make our first private server, alright? We're going to make an actual server where we can log into World of Warcraft, create an entire server all to ourselves. So the way we're going to do this is obviously develop a private server. How are we going to do that? Well, first to do this, we need World of Warcraft version 1.12.1. Now, that poses a problem because I don't think World of Warcraft officially releases these older versions of the build. They have no reason to. Blizzard themselves do not host vanilla servers, and frankly, they won't, I think, in the future. Or they might. They've been turning down a couple of these private servers that are running the official vanilla version of WoW. But we're going to be able to, we're going to get the private server files and work our way through that. Now, I know a little bit about this because I used to actually run a WoW private server for me and my friends at the time using a service called AC WoW. It was a repack of files that you could basically get up and started, and with a little bit of SQL database tinkering, you could make your own items, raids, whatever the heck you wanted to, if you knew what you were doing. And frankly, there was a lot of documentation available, so anybody of any skill level could actually do this stuff fairly easy. So the way we're going to do this, and I'm going to leave a link in the description below to where I learned how to do this, of course, download the following files at your own risk. And to get the original World of Warcraft, I don't know how to help you. It's pretty shady on how to get it legally. I mean, if you go to Walmart, for example, they probably have like old World of Warcraft sitting there on disc. I don't know how old that version is. It surely can't be the original. They can't have a copy like that sitting around for over a decade at this point. But hey, maybe you might get lucky, right? The other way you can get it, there's many ways actually you can get it. I'm not going to go into it because I don't think Blizzard would really like me telling you how to illegally download World of Warcraft, but there is a whole torrent of information out on the internet, wink wink, that you can actually look and frankly get your answer out of besides here. So let's assume you have World of Warcraft 1.12.1. You need to get these files. You have to run 3 programs. They're all going to start up command prompts. You're going to run a little script that'll create a new account, and then you need to change the GM level of the account so you become an administrator. Go to your World of Warcraft directory that you happen to find legally, I hope, and change the realm list to localhost. At that point, you'll be able to connect to your own private server, and we can get started. So I managed to do all that in the background through the power of video editing. The next cut you should see should be me playing the game. So here I am connected into the realm of a World of Warcraft server. On the top right you should be seeing Mangoes, which is the realm of what we're connected to. This is actually the newest private server that we made. The original, the only person on this right now is me, and potentially any other ghosts. Now by no means is this the only way you can see the ruins. You can actually access this through other installations. In fact, it's better if you keep seeing this through the expansions because Blizzard does change it. In fact, some people believe that this might actually come now, sometime in Legion, or maybe later, but we're going to see it as it originally once was. So we're going to create a new character. As you can see, it's as classic of World of Warcraft as we are getting. This has no mention of any other species or anything like that. This is as barren as we get. So I'm actually going to make a undead, I guess you could say. We might as well make an undead character, sort of fit the mood, and create the character and actually log into the World of Warcraft. Now to do this, we have to use the GM commands that allow us to teleport. So we're going to go into this as we connect and get past the intro and cinematic right now. Alright, so now that we've connected into the game, as you can see, this is as classic as it gets. If I can actually go to the options, you'll see the original NVIDIA logo, to be honest. So this is pretty vintage material right now. In fact, if I go over here, everything's maxed out. And yeah, we're starting off in the undead character location. Now, as you can see, I'm already level 60 because I'm playing as a GM account. In fact, if I do GM list, it'll actually tell me that I'm connected as the only GM here. In fact, I'm the only player. So if I do GM on, you'll notice that I can turn the Game Master mode to entirely on. I'm now an administrator account. This is what it feels like to be a Blizzard GM. So we're going to go here and we're going to actually teleport. So I have the code over here to the Karazhan crypts. So to do that, you have to do go, which will, if you look at here, it's got a bunch of things you can do. You can go to a grid point, objects, taxi nodes, triggers. We're going to go to the XYZ route. So in order to do this, we're going to do go, and I actually have the code right here backed up in my notes. We do negative 11069. Already it's got the creepy little music. I think we picked the right reason by going undead. In fact, I never played Horde when I was playing this game back in the day either. I always used to be Alliance until much later on. Let's hit enter and go to this ruin area. Right now the game looks like it's frozen. It has indeed frozen. I believe it will unfreeze once I'm teleported to the location. I think because we were in the close area, it actually loaded the entire place from scratch. So we were at the Crypt of the Forgotten. Now, usually, one of the messages I saw of people getting in here was that they had brought their character all the way up here. In fact, we can open these gates. But usually they would bring... You see that? Usually, people would bring their character over here. They would die by a mob. And then, because their character was dead in this section, they would use the wisp mode, which happens when you die, move over to this side of the gate, resurrect, and voila, they'd be on this side of the gate. However, we don't need to do that. We're a GM character. I think if I show you, if I turn off GM mode, by doing GM off, like .gm off rather, you see I can't access the gate anymore. But because I'm a GM, I can actually access the gate. So I have different things that I can do in the world. And I believe the GM mode will allow me to do certain things extra in the world as well. So we're here on the server. We're going through Pauper's Walk. Let's do our little investigation. Check through. The one thing to notice here too is that the music definitely fits the bill. I think it's just a standard music for the area, if anything. Going down to this section, you can actually see in the bottom right, they actually notify these doors as Doodad Wrought Iron Door 02, just by using their standard generic model name. Obviously they were working on it. Okay, that's certainly creepy. That's a creepy noise right there, not something that I want to keep doing. The area certainly is very atmospheric. Like, it definitely sticks out like some shady stuff has gone down over here. You open up the door, you just got weird noises regardless. Now in this area there's not much to really show you other than there being rooms. I believe the entire area was at one point going to be a dungeon, and this is where you would fight certain sub-bosses before you go to the end boss, or like an optional boss of the dungeon in this area. You might notice one thing is that it is very detailed, like the screenshots showcased, and that's because there was certainly some work put into it. But we're not where the screenshots for the area really were at. We have yet to see the hanging bodies. Now, as far as I know, you can actually jump down that way and see a little bit more, or you can go down this way and see some other weird stuff as well. But we're going to jump down this way too, just because why not? One thing to notice is, because we're in the GM mode, we can actually open these gates. This is the Tomb of the Unrepentant. Normally, if you had GM mode off, you would not be allowed to do this, but we are. You go into this area, and you can go into what seems like another boss room. If we jump down all the way to here, you'll notice that we also don't even take damage or anything, because again, we're in that GM mode. We're completely invincible to anything that happens. Think of it more as like a developer mode rather, for this game. That's how they would test for a lot of things, really. So over here, just a little area that we can go to, which isn't really in fact, if we go to it real quick, what does that lead to? You know, if we're already here, we might as well check the whole thing, right? This would lead us to... Ooh, there's a bunch of bones in the back. This takes us to the Pit of Criminals. Going up this way leads us back to the Tomb of the Unrepentant. So the only logical place to go to is down here. I will tell you, am I hearing heartbeats in the back? Yeah, I'm hearing heartbeats. That's... Yeah, I tell you, the sound effects I picked for this place certainly are unnerving. It's like they knew the community would eventually find a place like this, so they had to add in as much as they could to really freak the hell out of people coming around. So we're not losing any breath, thankfully, in the water. But if we check around, this is the upside down sinners. You can see the hooks have a little bit of animation to them as well, so there was, again, work put into it. But if we go to one of the bodies over here... Wow, the music cut out entirely. This is unnerving. If you look over here, this is the bodies that we're talking about, right over here. This, as you can see, is actually fairly detailed. Eyes are all closed, nose, mouth. If you look around over here, the hands either seem to be cut off or they're wrapped up really good. Over here, the back of the knees are certainly very dark, and they're held upside down, hence the name Upside Down Sinners. There's one thing I noticed is they all have purple hair, it seems, so it just seems like they're the same generic NPC character model. You know, the lack of music really doesn't add to this place's... This is just weird, actually. I feel like I'm about to get some form of a screamer. I feel like maybe whoever made the server files might have... Ooh, there's more bodies right here. And the bodies just... They all seem to be the exact same character model. If we go up all the way to the top... The music is there, it's just when we go underwater, the SFX changes. But there's not much more to see. I think there was a rumor that the bodies would talk, like there would be little dialogue boxes, but I don't see it. In fact, if I type in the chat, we can see our dialogue box. I think somebody said if I say hello to one of them, they might respond back. I'm kind of freaked out, honestly, being on a server alone late at night, that's just not right. Hi? Hello? No, not help. In fact, if I type help, what are they going to say? No, they respond with nothing. Now, if we go up to this place, this is the one place that we have left to see. See, the music came back. It's just underwater. They take the music out. This is the Slough of Despair. This is where I think the main boss for the area should have been. Alright, interesting material indeed. I don't think there's much more for me to really check. This is the entirety of the ruins. So I think for now, we're just going to go take a step back. First time in my life I've seen this place, so was it worth it? I think so. Let's head on back. So that was about the exploration binge that I did on the original Karazhan ruins using the private server, and frankly, the video can end just like that, but there's more creepiness that comes out of this straight up. There's multitudes of locations you can go to in the original World of Warcraft. You don't even need to have a private server for the original. Say you had a private server for the expansion packs, there's actually creepier locations you can go to, I think, within each expansion. But some of the original places that are probably inaccessible is, places such as GM Island, which is kind of creepy in its own regards. I mean, just look at it. And there is a prison for the GMs as well, but you need a certain item to get there or teleport there. There's multiple caveats to this, as well as interesting locations that Blizzard never used, potentially saved it for something else and forgot about it. But what I really wanted to focus on was the ruins, and frankly, having the upside down bodies hanging around. I think I've seen creepier stuff in World of Warcraft regardless. I mean, even with the private server, because of how dead it is and the fact that you don't have anybody connected to your own server, if you just happen to remove the NPCs even and walk around the towns or the cities, it would make for a much more creepier experience, to be brutally serious. You'd be the only living person in a world of dumb NPCs. Make that a creepypasta, I swear. That is something. But you could even, with some SQL tinkering, make your own mobs, make your own scary stories, make your own creepy items, your own creepy quest lines. If you're willing to do it, you can actually go really far alongside this as well. So it's not just the ruins that this video can end on. Potentially, the community can get behind making a modded horror World of Warcraft server. I don't think Blizzard would be too happy, so I'm not going to push the idea entirely of me mentioning that. But today we managed to go in, create our own server, and see a part of World of Warcraft that maybe should have been left undone. Now, there's more and more we can cover as the series continues. I think the next few episodes, I have some ideas kicking off. We might take a look at the DS's biggest horror game that you might not have played, and amongst many other things that we can dig out of this series. But that being said, I'm going to end it off, this first episode, covering the Karazhan Crypt, the interesting part of World of Warcraft that we've all seen the screenshots of, but me personally, I haven't dug into it until this very day. So let me know what you think about this series direction. Let me know what you think about this episode. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you disliked. This is me, Mutahar, and I am out.